Hi, hello. If you like this content, please make sure to subscribe and click thumbs up. This is Dissecting Teen Vogue, and I love Teen Vogue because they not only talk about in their magazine about beauty and fashion, but also about politics. And I think that's something really interesting about their magazine because usually other magazines don't cover those topics, or it's very rare for them to do it. So I'm up for Teen Vogue. Bravo for talking about politics. Now, one interesting topic that they had on their website was Phoebe Bridgers wants you to know that it's healthy to be angry. And I totally agree with her because I had an experience a while ago. Not a while ago, but several years ago, like 5 to 6 years ago. It's a while. It's 5 to 6 years. It might seem like a lot to you, but to me, it isn't. I used to bottle up all of my emotions for a long time, and I couldn't cry in public. And I bottled all of these emotions inside of me because I was going through a really tough problem that's personal. Maybe I'll open up about it as I get older. I'll tell you what happened to me in college. But I was so bottled up with emotions that I had inside of anger and sadness. That anger and sadness that I had within me exploded when I went to a mental hospital, because of all of those emotions and tears I held from crying in public. So, you may be wondering, what happened to you, girl? What happened to you? I want to keep it private now, but maybe in the future I'll let you know what happened in a YouTube video. But Phoebe Bridgers says that it's healthy to be angry, and it is true. It is healthy to be angry and express your emotions, because if you don't express your emotions, what will happen is you will end up in a mental hospital. You will end up in a mental hospital like I did in the past, because of all of those emotions and sadness stored within you that you didn't express to your family and to yourself, for yourself. So I was interested in the article by the title, and I was searching the article, and it talked about how she said that abortion should be okay, and she's angry at the U.S. government for blocking her right to abort a child. And it's to a point, I really respect her opinion because she has every single right to be angry, and she has every single right to state her opinion. But also, if your baby was the next Jesus, would you abort him? I repeat this again. If your baby was the next Steve Jobs, would you abort him? If your baby was the next Kylie Jenner, would you abort her? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't abort her. And if you did, that's cruel. Babies' lives matter. Would you shot this baby in its head? Maybe a Nazi would. I think a Nazi would shot this baby in the head if it was a Jew. But I'm saying, for real, for a mother to, because I've seen pictures online of babies being aborted, and they cut them up in pieces. With the scissors, they cut their limbs. And in no way am I disrespecting Phoebe Bridgers, because she has her right to her own opinion. But I also have my right to my own opinion. And I think that killing babies is wrong. Killing babies because it's a baby you're killing. It's your own child. Unless you're like Casey Anthony, which I think she killed her child, by the way, but she got out of jail. I don't know why, because I think she's a total criminal. But Casey Anthony. But anyways, that's like killing a human. You're killing a human, and they feel pain too. If you're a baby, if you cut him up with scissors, he's gonna cry out. And imagine not being able to cry because you're in the womb. How painful is that for a human baby to feel that? And so this is why I don't agree with her. But I do believe that she's correct in saying that you should state your anger. But also I should say my anger too, because babies' lives matter. And you wouldn't abort a Steve Jobs or a Jesus. Your baby is created by you. You are the creator of your baby and God. And I think you're the one who can instill him to be the best version of himself in this world and change history. But honestly, Phoebe Bridgers is not a bad woman for aborting. Because my mom aborted too. And this is a secret she tells me not to tell people. But I'm about to tell you here on YouTube because I think it's important that you learn from her mistake. My mom is 50 now. And I'm in my 30s. And she basically told me that she regrets aborting it. Because she says, what if it was, if I regret it. This man left me for another woman. And he said he wasn't going to help me with the baby's diapers or anything. And I was a single woman and I already had you, Sophie, she said to me. And I couldn't afford it. But what if she put it in an orphanage where somebody could take care of it? But her reputation, she didn't want her reputation to be ruined. So she aborted it. But she regrets it till this day. And it's one of her greatest insecurities. And in fact, there was a priest who said she begged to the priest that my grandpa in that time got sick. And they thought he had cancer. And she said that he needed medicine. And she said, I need that money. And the priest gave it to her. But she used it to abort a baby. So, we can't point fingers at people and say you're a piece of shit or a piece of poo-poo head because you aborted someone. No, you can't point heads because what if you were raped? What if that person doesn't love you anymore and leaves you? What if you're poor and don't have money? All these things can happen. But at the same time, we have to remember that at the end of it, it's a life. It's a life. It's a baby's life. And for that reason, I don't agree with this abortion. And my mom would also, she's 50 now and she regrets it. She regrets it. But she did have the third time she became pregnant with my stepfather's baby, she did have it. And it's Stephen Anthony. And he's a huge baby. But he's taller than me too, and he's young still. He's in high school right now, And she wouldn't trade for the world aborting Stephen because she's in love with him. And maybe they're not in a relationship, my stepfather and her, but it didn't matter. She still kept the baby. So babies' lives matter. And just like I mentioned previously in some videos, if this baby, with abortion, if this baby Nazi saw it, he could shoot it in his head. Are you willing to do that to your own child, though? Seriously, are you willing to do that to your own child? Kill your own child and cut it up in pieces? This little baby, this cute face. No. Or if he was the next Jesus, like I said. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't abort a Steve Jobs. You don't know what that baby's future is in store for his life. So guard it. I'm not mad at Phoebe Bridgers because my mom did the same thing too. I'm just saying, babies' lives matter. Luxury bags. Does the cost reflect the quality? More often than not, Generation Z customers are turning to vintage or mid-tier luxury for their handbags. That's great. But, I totally do the fake thing where it looks like the real, Chanel bag. I would totally buy the fake one if it was less than the real one. If they give it to me for free, I would. That's because I don't have a lot of money to spend on bags that are really luxurious. But I do invest I did invest some money on my latest bag, but it wasn't from these top tier Gucci bags or these Vogue bags. Or I don't know, does Vogue have a bag? I don't think so. Anyways, I think that does it cost? Do you think? Put it down in the comments. Do you think that the cost reflects the quality? In certain times, yes, it does. I think, and in certain times, it doesn't. It depends. I want your opinion down below. TikTokers are using just lipstick to create a full face of makeup. I mean, that's great. I think that I did that in college. When I graduated, I had this lipstick that I had bought with my own earned hard money, and I used to put it here and here, and that was it. That was my makeup. That was my makeup. And it works, but some people even go as far as putting it in their eyebrows, their lipstick in their eyebrows. I've seen it, and I saw it in this Teen Vogue magazine. Now, this Teen Vogue magazine also had 25 best wand vibrators for intense self-pleasure. I mean, that's great, but for adults, not for teens. Teen includes 13-year-old girls. 13-year-old girls shouldn't be masturbating. I'm just saying. 13-year-old girls shouldn't own vibrators. They should be focused on, and I think one way as a parent to make sure that your teen is not masturbating is to put him in sports, invite friends for sleepovers, make them call their friends up for parties, house parties with their family. And I think things like that, like in sports too, I emphasize the word sports because when you put your child in the sports, they are less likely to wonder how to masturbate or things like that. They're more concerned about sleeping and doing their homework and studying and not having sex at an early age. I do not suggest to have sex at an early age because, especially if you're poor, because then what if you get pregnant? That happens. And I have a lot of respect for 13-year-olds who get pregnant with their partner and in high school or in middle school, whichever one is 13. I think it's middle school. 13 is middle school or high school? I have no idea. Oh my god, I don't know. But like, I have great respect for them because if they don't abort it. Because it's hard to be a single mom. But saving that life by not aborting because their boyfriend left them at that young age is self-respect. I think that people earn respect for my part for doing that. But please encourage your children to not do that. Wait until college, I would say, or senior year when you're about to graduate. And also talk to your teenager about sex. Freely open to talk to them. Because a lot of parents are just afraid to talk about sex. My parent was afraid about it. But she did prohibit me from having sex at that age. So keep an eye out for your child and his whereabouts or her whereabouts. 3 Tennessee Democrats might get expelled today over gun violence protests. Here is the politics behind Vogue, Teen Vogue. And I was so excited to see this because this urges us to not take the guns away from people because they protect us. But have security with police officers working in each school, in every single school. Have police officers. So, I thought at first to give guns to teachers so that they can do self-defense, but no, I think now, that could be an option, but I think the best option here is to have security officers on the school. Because by the time the police come from the ambulance, people are dead. People are already shot. But if we have security and police officers, security police officers called security, a dorm, not a dorm, part of the building, they have to have security. and not just film it, but have police there. Like 4 police per school, 4. And guard and act when there's gunshots from someone, act and protect those kids with their guns. Because you can't stop a shooter without a gun. You cannot stop a shooter without a gun. So they will protect the children with their guns and call for backup. But meanwhile backup comes, people don't die, and they're there to help out fast. So that's my 2 cents on Teen Vogue. I think Teen Vogue does a great job of talking about politics and not only fashion and beauty.